This session is on Alexandria policies. To check your policies, the first thing you do is you have your circulation screen open. From there, you go to Edit, down to System Preferences, and when you see the System Preferences screen, you look at the line that says Circulation and you click Policies. This is going to show you in this screen both your patron policies and your item policies. So look on the right hand side of the screen to item policies, and the first thing you see, which is the default policy, is standard item. If you click the down arrow beside standard policy, you're going to see where your policies should be. If all you see are a set of numbers, as you see in this case, then that you know you're going to have to add policies, transfer materials from policies, and then eventually delete your old policies. So the first thing we're going to do is add policies. We're going to come down to the plus sign at the bottom of the screen, click plus, then I'm going to add the name of my first policy. I'm going to put 000 to 099. My policy short code is going to be 000 for my 000s, and click OK. At this point, if I want to set up my transaction time, for example, if I want to check out for 2 weeks at a time, I'm going to leave it for 14 days. If I'm going to set it for 7 days for an elementary school, I would set it for 7. In this case, this is a middle school, so I'm going to leave it at 14. And I'm going to come up to the top and click Save. So that's my first policy. I'm going to go back down to the plus sign. I'm going to add my next one. It's going to be 100 to 199. The short code will be the 100s, and click OK and save. I'm going to do this for each of my nonfiction policies, 200 to 299. Short code is 200s. Click OK and then save. After you have added your standard nonfiction policies, you're going to need to add things such as biography, and your short code is going to be whatever symbol that you use in your collection. In this case, it's 92. At another school, they might use 921 for biography. I would add biography. I'm going to add collective biography. $9.20. I need to be sure I add one for fiction, and I'm going to use FIC in this case because this librarian uses FIC. We're going to add reference. I noticed that she had videotapes in her collection, so I'm going to add videotapes. She uses VT. She also has some DVDs, so I'm going to add DVDs. It's always a good idea to add one for equipment. You can either lump everything under equipment and put all equipment there, or you can add specific categories such as DVD players, projectors, etc. That's going to be a choice that you will make as your librarian. You may also wish to add something like Easy Collection. And save. Once you have added most of your policies, and you can always go back and add policies at any time, it's good. This is what it's going to look like. When you click your down arrow, you're going to see all of the new policies that you've added, and you're going to see the old number policies that were moved over from Spectrum. That's okay. By the time we finish, you're going to have everything in the correct policy. Once all of your policies have been entered, the next step is to begin transferring items from the old policies into the new policies. To do this, we're going to use a batch process through Alexandria Utilities. To get to the utilities, I'm going to go to Tools, go down to Utilities. I'm going to click the tab that says Copies, and I'm going to scroll through the different types of processes I can do. And the last one is usually Change Copy Policies. I'm going to select Change Copy Policies. Once I'm there, I need to click the tab that says Selection. And this is how I'm going to set up my screen. For utility type, I'm going to choose Replace Information. By replace, I'm going to tell them I'm going to replace the copy policy. Then it says with, and I'm going to choose the first policy that I want to rename. So I'm going to choose 000 to 099. That is my new policy. I'm going to tell it to modify titles and copies, and then I want to select these books by my copy call number. Then there's a start with and an end with. I'm going to choose 000 to start with. I'm going to end with 099.999 because I want to try to cover any book that would be in the 000s. And then I'm going to tell it to run. It's asking me if I want to run an archive this time. Since I've been working on this for a while this morning, I'm going to tell it no. When I click no, you're going to watch as it completes the operation. It's going to make a sound, and I'm going to know that it's finished. I'm going to change my next policy. I'm going to this time move everything into the 100s. I'm going to start with 100 through 199. I'm just going to change the first digit on start with and end with. Tell it to run. I'm not going to run a utility this time. And it's going to automatically move everything from the old policy into the new policies. And I'm going to continue doing this policy by policy. 200s. It's actually a very quick process. Run. I'm going to do my 300s. And I'm going to continue on in this manner until I finished all of my Dewey Decimal numbers. When I finished most of my Dewey numbers, I can go down and look at my biographies. And this time I'm going to simply start with 921, or she uses 92. So 92 through 92, and I'm going to run that. And that will separate your biographies from your regular 900s. And if you have books in your collection where you have a mixture of 92 and 921, you may also need to go back and choose your 921s and do the same process with those books. We're going to do collective biography, which will be your 920s. The next step is our fiction. So I'm going to scroll down until I find my fiction policy. And where it says start with, I'm going to say fiction, F-I-C-A-A-A through F-I-C-Z-Z-Z. If you don't use F-I-C, if you only use F for fiction, you would only use the F. And I'm going to run that. And this will move all of the fiction books out of the old policy into the new fiction policy. And you continue this procedure all the way through reference. If you have reference books, you do the same thing for your videotapes, for your DVDs. If you still have cassettes on tape, you would include those, or any other special types of books. And you may find over time that you will need to go back and add other policies. You may eventually need a policy for ebooks, or for things such as if you have an easy collection, if you include kits. I don't think any of us have film strips anymore, but if you still have a few film strips, you would even need to go back and add a policy for your film strips.